I heard the door click before I even looked up from my laptop. "Hey," I said without much hope. Emily didn't answer. She just stood there, her bag hanging from one shoulder, eyes fixed on the floor. "Emily," I pushed my chair back, heart thudding. "You okay?" She finally looked up. That blank stare, like she was seeing through me, made my stomach drop. "We need to talk," she said. I laughed nervously. "Talk? It's midnight." "I know," she said softly. "I just can't wait any longer." I put my laptop aside and gestured to the chair across from me. "Sit. What's going on?" She sat slowly, as if every movement was heavy with dread. I think we need space." "Space?" I repeated, confused. "You mean like a weekend away?" Or I trailed off, trying to make it sound casual. Emily shook her head. "I mean, I want a divorce, Daniel." The words hit me like a punch. "Wait, what?" I laughed, but it came out hollow. "Divorce? You're joking, right?" She didn't smile. "I'm not. No, this can't be happening." My voice cracked. We just celebrated your law school graduation." "I know," she said, avoiding my eyes. "And I appreciate everything. I really do." My hands curled into fists. "Appreciate?" "Emily," I stopped. My chest was tight. "I paid your tuition for 4 years. I worked nights, skipped vacations so you could focus on school. And now—" "Daniel, it's not about the money," she said quickly. I stared at her. "Not about the money? Then why? Why now?" Her lips trembled. I just can't do this anymore. I need to be with someone else." I felt my world tilt. "Someone else? Who?" She hesitated. Then her eyes flicked down. "Jason." I felt my stomach drop, like all the air had been sucked out of the room. "Jason? Your ex? The guy who cheated on you in college?" "Yes," she whispered. I didn't plan for this to happen like this. I wanted to laugh, or scream, or cry. Instead, I just sat there frozen. "You're leaving me for him?" I don't know what else to do," she said, her voice cracking. "I'm sorry, Daniel." "Sorry?" I echoed. "Sorry? I've spent years building a life for us. I've sacrificed nights, money, everything for you." "You did, and I'm grateful," she said softly. "I really am. But I have to follow my heart." I leaned back, my hands shaking. "Your heart is with him." She nodded. "I never wanted to hurt you." I laughed bitterly. "Hurt me? Emily, you're not just hurting me. You're taking everything we built and tossing it aside." She flinched. "Daniel, please. Don't make this harder than it already is." "Harder? You think you're the only one hurting?" I shouted. My voice echoed in the kitchen. "I stayed up late every night making sure you could study, that your law school loans were covered, and this is how you repay me." Her eyes filled with tears. "I didn't ask for this. I didn't plan for any of it. I wanted to reach for her, to shake some sense into her." "Plan? You planned this. You've been seeing him." "I haven't," she cried. "I swear, I didn't see him until recently. I didn't think I'd ever feel this way again." I sank into my chair. "And you're leaving. Just like that. You don't even look sorry." "I am sorry," she said quietly, almost to herself. "I really am." I couldn't speak. My throat burned, my mind raced. I kept imagining all the nights I stayed at the office, sending her encouraging texts while she studied, paying for tuition, dinners, rent, all of it. And now this. I need time," I finally said. "I can't." "I understand," she whispered. "I'll pack my things tomorrow. I don't want to fight tonight." I wanted to scream, to beg her to stay, to somehow undo the last 4 years. But I didn't. I just nodded, feeling hollow, like the life I knew had evaporated. She stood and left without another word. I sat there staring at the kitchen table, the one I bought for us, the one we shared countless meals and late-night talks at. Now it felt like a witness to my destruction. The night I paid her final tuition bill was the night she packed her bags. And I didn't know yet that Jason was waiting for her, smiling, ready to take everything I had built for us. I sank lower in my chair, gripping the edge of the table. My heart ached, but a strange clarity started to form. Whatever happened next, I knew one thing. My life had just changed forever. The envelope hit my desk like a brick. Thick, heavy, cold. I stared at it for a long time, wondering if maybe, just maybe, it was a joke. I tore it open, and then I froze. Divorce papers. My hand shook. My eyes blurred over her handwriting and the typed demands. Half my company. Half. The company I built from nothing before she even finished high school. I called her immediately. Emily, pick up. Please, just answer. Nothing. Straight to voicemail. Again and again. I left one voice message after another. Emily, this isn't fair. Please, just talk to me. I can explain. I sat back in my chair, clenching my fists. Talk to you. I muttered aloud. She doesn't want to talk. She wants to steal. The phone buzzed. Mark. Of course. He always called at the wrong or right time. Dan. His voice was sharp. You sound like hell. Mark, you won't believe this. She wants half the company. Half. His tone went from surprise to anger in a heartbeat. She's serious? Emily's asking for half. I rub my face. I don't know what to do. I'm shaking, Mark. I feel like I just got sucker punched. Man, that's insane. Did she even try to hide this from you? She claims she sacrificed 4 years of her life. That I owe her. That paying for law school wasn't enough. I laughed bitterly. Not enough. Can you believe that? Mark groaned. Unbelievable. Dan, someone's whispering in her ear. Somebody's telling her she can get away with it. I froze. What do you mean? She's not thinking about love, Dan. Someone's coaching her. Someone is making this look like a power play instead a mess of bad choices. I clenched my teeth. Jason, I muttered under my breath. I didn't even need to say the name. Mark knew. Exactly. That guy is trouble. Has been since college. And now, he's back in her life, probably telling her to push you into the corner. I slammed my fist against the desk. I paid for her education, Mark. I gave everything I had for her to have a future. And now she wants compensation for what? Loving her? Supporting her? Don't let it get to you before you know the facts, man. Mark said, calm but firm. But yeah, it stinks. And she's going to try to make you feel guilty for it. I shook my head. I don't know how she can even say this with a straight face. Half my company? Do you know what that would mean? Years of work, everything gone. Dan, Mark said softly, listen to me. She's manipulating you. Don't fall for it. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the papers. Manipulating? Yeah, I guess that's what it feels like. I keep thinking I'll wake up and she'll apologize. But there's no apology here. Just demands. You tried calling her? Mark asked. Hundreds of times, I said. She won't answer. I even went to her mom's house. Nothing. She refused to see me. Mark whistled low. That's cold. Dan, I hate to say it, but she's planning her moves. And you need to start planning yours. I rub my eyes. I don't even know where to start. I feel violated. Used. You were used, Mark said. Plain and simple. And you've got to protect what's yours before it's too late. I exhaled slowly. I thought marriage meant trust. Loyalty. Not this game of chess she's playing with my life. Mark's voice softened. Dan, focus. Don't lose your mind. Evidence, money trails, contracts, that's your battlefield. Keep your head clear. I don't even know where to begin, I said, gripping the papers tighter. My hand shook. She's supposed to be the woman I trusted more than anyone. And now she's tearing everything apart. Exactly, Mark said. So fight smart. Don't fight angry. You'll come out stronger if you play it right. And Dan, remember, someone is whispering to her, but you're the one with the power. Don't give it away. I stared at the envelope again, cold and heavy on the desk. Half my life, half my company. I thought about all those late nights, all those sacrifices, all the plans I had for us. And now it was gone, or it would be if I didn't act. I looked up at Mark's concerned voice on the phone. You're right. I won't fall for her lies. I'll make sure I protect everything I built. I can't let this happen. Mark's chuckle was low, steadying. That's the Dan I know. Good. Now sleep. Tomorrow, we start the plan. I exhaled, finally letting some air out, my heart still pounding, my hands still shaking. The paper stayed on the desk, mocking me. I knew one thing for certain. The fight had begun. Sarah pulled me aside in the office, her expression tight, eyes flicking toward the door. Daniel, you need to see this, she said quietly. I frowned. See what? She handed me her phone. Screenshots. Emily, she's been meeting someone. You need to know. I scrolled. My chest burned as the pictures loaded. There she was, laughing, leaning close, Jason Hale's arm around her shoulders. I froze. Jason? I whispered. Sarah nodded. Yeah, they've been meeting for months, it looks like. I felt a cold weight settle in my stomach. Months? She's been lying to me all this time. I'm sorry, Daniel, she said softly. I didn't want to have to show you, but no, it's fine, I said, my hands gripping the edge of my desk. I needed to know. I need the truth. Sarah hesitated. Do you want me to show you more? Yes. Every message, every meeting. I need the full picture. She swiped through more screenshots, text messages filled with laughter, dinner photos, movie nights. My chest tightened. She looks happy with him. She does, Sarah said quietly. I think that's why she left so suddenly. She's not just leaving. She's choosing him. I laughed bitterly. Choosing him of all people. Jason? That guy cheated on her in college. He's a joke. A con artist at heart. Sarah hesitated. He's back at her life, and she trusts him. That's what matters to her right now. I slammed my hands on the desk. Right now? She spent 4 years using me to get through law school, and now she's just walking back to him. Sarah flinched, but didn't back down. It looks that way. I'm sorry, Daniel. I know how much you did for her. I bury my face in my hands. Every night, staying late at the office. Working double shifts so she could study without worry. Sacrificing vacations, dinners, sleep for her. And this is what I get. She made her choice, Sarah said softly. It's not your fault. I lifted my head, anger and cold clarity mingling. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like I was just a bridge she crossed to get back to him. Sarah's voice was gentle. Maybe you were, but that doesn't mean you lose. Not everything. I lean back, staring at the ceiling. I can't sleep. I keep seeing them together, laughing. She doesn't even look back at me in these pictures. You'll get through this, Sarah said. You're stronger than you think. But right now, let yourself feel it. Let yourself see the truth. I swallowed hard. The truth is worse than I imagined. I thought I knew her. I thought she loved me. But she never did. Not the way I did. Sarah nodded. People change, Daniel. And sometimes, they show who they really are when it's too late. I clench my fists. Too late, yeah. It's too late for apologies. Too late for explanations. I can't go back. I won't. Then what will you do? Sarah asked. I exhaled, my mind already moving, cold and precise. I'll fight. Not with anger. Not with revenge. But with everything I have. They don't expect me to fight back. That's their mistake. Sarah looked at me with cautious optimism. You'll need help. Evidence. Strategy. I know, I said. And I have people I can trust. People who know the truth. I won't let them take everything I built. Sarah hesitated. You want me to help? Of course, I said, voice firm. I trust you, Sarah. I need you on this. She nodded, relief washing over her face. I won't let them win, Daniel. I stared at her, a cold clarity settling in me. They think they're smart, that they can manipulate and walk away with everything. But they don't know me. Not anymore. And when they realize that, Sarah asked. I smirked faintly, though my chest still ached. They'll regret it. Not because I destroyed them, but because they thought they could break me, and I survived. That's my advantage. That's everything. Sarah gave a small smile. Then let's get to work. I nodded, feeling a strange calm for the first time since Emily left. Not anger, not despair, just a cold, clear understanding. They didn't expect me to fight. They didn't expect me to survive. But I would. And when the time came, they'd see exactly what happens when someone underestimates me. I walked into Olivia's office, the air thick with the scent of coffee and polished wood. She didn't waste a second. Daniel, she said, looking me directly in the eye. Do you have proof that you funded her education alone? I nodded, feeling my throat tighten. Yes. Bank transfers, receipts, tuition statements, everything. Her lips curved slightly, the kind of small smile that made me feel she already knew the end of this story. Good. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. I sank into the chair across from her. Olivia, I don't even know where to start. She's asking for half my company. Half. She didn't even end things properly before Jason came back in her life. Olivia leaned back, steepling her fingers. I've seen worse. But yes, she's taking aggressive measures, and Jason is influencing her. You need to be prepared. I rub my face. Aggressive measures? She's demanding years of my work. My company. Everything I've built since I was 24. Olivia tilted her head. We'll counter. But first, I need every email, every text, every financial record you have. Do not leave anything out. If they try to claim emotional support, domestic contribution, or even future earnings, we need to be ready. I shook my head. Future earnings? What do they think this is, some kind of fantasy accounting? I can't lose half my life for someone who clearly doesn't even respect me. Respect doesn't matter in court, Daniel. Documentation does. Her voice was sharp, firm, and character. They'll try to play the emotional card, and they might get sympathy from the judge if we're not careful. I swallowed hard. Sympathy? For what? Betraying me. Walking out on me after I paid for her law school? Olivia nodded. Exactly. That's why preparation is key. Do you have all the records from your company's accounts? Yes, I said. Every transfer, every expense, even the dinners I paid for her when she was studying late. Good. Make a copy for me. I want it organized, labeled, easy to present. And, Daniel, anything you suspect about Jason, his influence, his communication with her, we'll need that too. I clenched my fists under the desk. I've got screenshots, messages, everything Sarah gave me. I'll give it to you. He's a problem. I don't even want to think about what he's planning. Olivia leaned forward, voice low. You don't need to think about what he's planning. We'll take it step by step. But Daniel, be ready. This is going to get personal. They're going to try to attack your character, your decisions, even your integrity. I felt a chill run through me. Personal? Yes, she said, looking me in the eye with a calm intensity that made me shiver. They'll go after everything they can. Your generosity, your trust, even your emotions. Be ready for that. I exhaled slowly. I can handle the facts. But personal, that terrifies me. Good, Olivia said, because fear will keep you alert. You've already been through the betrayal. Now we're going to turn that into strategy. You don't have to hate them to beat them, but you do have to be aware. I've never felt this violated. I admit it. To see her demand half my company while smiling at him. It's unreal. Daniel, Olivia said, firm but measured. Unreal is exactly how she wants it to feel. Confusion, frustration, self-doubt. That's their weapon. Not yours. You focus on evidence, clarity, and preparation. I nodded slowly, taking a deep breath. All right. Evidence, clarity, preparation. Got it. Good, she said. Now, let's organize everything. Texts, emails, financials, every single detail counts. We will anticipate every argument they throw at us. And Daniel, she paused, looking me straight in the eye. Don't underestimate them. They're desperate. That makes them dangerous. I won't. I said, my jaw tight. I won't let them take what I built. Olivia's lips curled again, that same small, knowing smile. I like your confidence. That's a start. But remember, this fight is just beginning. And, Daniel, it will get very personal. Keep your focus. I nodded. I'm ready. Let them try. I've survived worse than betrayal. I'll survive this too. Olivia leaned back, satisfied. Then let's get to work. And for the first time in days, I felt a flicker of control. The fight wasn't over. But I wasn't going down without one hell of a battle. I stood outside her new apartment, my hands gripping the railing like it could hold me together. When I saw her in the lobby, I called out, Emily, we need to talk. She looked up and rolled her eyes. Daniel, really? Here. Yes, really, I said, stepping closer. I deserve answers. I deserve an explanation. She crossed her arms. Answers? I've told you everything I can. There's nothing left. Nothing left. I shot back. You left me. You pack your bags. You walked out with him in mind. There's everything left to explain. She sighed, glancing toward the elevator. You wouldn't understand. Jason, he gets me. He understands my real dreams. My chest tightened. Your dreams? You mean the guy you cheated with in college, the guy with no steady job, suddenly understands you now? Yes, she said calmly, like it made perfect sense. You owe me back, Daniel. Always with your work schedule, your company, your obsession with success. I needed more. More. I felt the heat rising in my chest. I gave you everything I had. Every late night, every sacrifice, every dollar for your tuition, every moment I could have had to rest or live. And you call that holding you back? I didn't ask for your pity, Daniel. I needed freedom. I needed space to grow. I shook my head, feeling the room spin. Freedom? You didn't grow. You walked straight into his arms while pretending to be grateful for everything I did. Emily's lips pressed together. That's not fair. I made choices I needed to make. And Jason, he thinks I deserve half. The words hit me like a sledgehammer. Half? I shouted. Half my company? You mean the life I built? The nights I sacrificed, the deals I closed, the hours I spent working while you studied. He thinks you deserve that. Yes, she said, almost whispering. He does. I felt a cold wave sweep through me. He? Jason? The same guy who cheated on you in college, who has no job, no vision, no responsibility. He thinks you deserve half? Do you even hear yourself? Emily flinched. Daniel, please. Don't make this about him. It's about me. I need this. I laughed, bitter, hollow. Need this? You need to ruin me? You need to take what's mine because you can't face the consequences of your own choices. I don't know what else to do, she whispered, voice breaking. I thought this was right. Right? I shook my head, feeling something inside snap. Do you know what right is? Right is honoring what we built together. Right is not using me as a stepping stone to get to a man who doesn't even respect you. She swallowed hard. Daniel, you don't understand. You never will. I felt the tears burning my eyes, not from sorrow, but from a deep, cold clarity. No, I understand perfectly. You chose him. You chose betrayal. You chose to take what isn't yours. Emily took a step back. Please don't be like this. I didn't want. I cut her off. Stop. Stop pretending. I see it all now. The lies, the smiles, the pretending to be grateful. All of it was a bridge to him. That's what you wanted all along, isn't it? Her eyes filled with tears, but I didn't falter. Yes, I whispered to myself, more than to her. That's it. That's the truth. And I won't let it break me. Emily reached out. Daniel, I shook my head and stepped away. No, don't touch me. I've waited too long, hoped too much. I'm done hoping for someone who never cared the way I did. She fell silent. I turned and walked down the stairs, my chest heavy, but a strange calm settling over me. For the first time since this nightmare began, I stopped hoping she'd come back. For the first time, I chose myself. I wouldn't fight her. I wouldn't plead. I wouldn't cry. I'd survive. And when the time came, I'd reclaim everything she thought she could take. I first heard about it from my phone, buzzing nonstop. Texts, emails, notifications, rumors, Emily's name. I opened one link and froze. Screenshots, texts she sent to colleagues, friends, saying she used me as a step before real life starts. I blinked, heart thudding. I wasn't proud, not one bit, seeing her words there. But a part of me felt relief. Not revenge, just as catching up. My phone rang. Emily. Daniel, she screamed. Did you leak those texts? Did you? I stayed calm. I didn't, Emily. You think I'd stoop that low? She laughed bitterly. Oh, don't lie to me. Everyone's talking about you, about us. How could you not? Emily, I interrupted, voice steady. I didn't. Ask yourself who benefits from this. Not me. Not my company. Not my life. Stop pretending. Stop acting innocent. You've ruined me. I didn't ruin you, I said softly. You did this to yourself. You walked into it. You chose it. You're lying, she shouted, voice cracking. No one will believe you. They'll know it's you. I shook my head. They'll know the truth soon enough. But right now, I'm not the one in trouble. She hung up. I exhaled slowly, trying to calm the surge of adrenaline. Then a call from Daniel Price, her boss. Mr. Carter, he said formally, I need to meet with you. It's about Emily and the messages circulating in our firm. I need to understand what kind of mess we're dealing with. I raised an eyebrow. You mean the mess your employee created by lying and using people? Yes, he said sharply. I want your side before we make any decisions. Can you come in? Of course, I said. When? Now. I want this handled immediately. I grabbed my coat and left. In the car, I reminded myself, calm. Evidence. Focus. The texts didn't belong to me, but they were evidence of her character, of choices she made. When I arrived, Daniel Price didn't waste time. Mr. Carter, he said, stern, I need clarity. Emily's behavior, your involvement. What happened? I had nothing to do with it, I said firmly. I didn't leak anything. But you should know she's been dishonest, manipulative, and reckless in her personal and professional life. The messages reflect that. He studied me for a long moment. I see. So, these messages were entirely hers. Yes, I said. I didn't manipulate or influence her. I didn't interfere with her job. She's responsible for her choices. He nodded slowly. Good. I needed to hear that directly. I can see her position here may be compromised, even before any review. Thank you for coming in and being straightforward. I exhaled, feeling the tension drain slightly. Just doing my part, Mr. Price. You handled this well, he said. You stayed calm, factual. That matters more than you know. I think you understand how damaging these leaks are, even if unintentional. I do, I said, and I'm glad the truth is clear. I left the office calm, breathing in the afternoon air. Emily's new job was already hanging by a thread. Karma, in some small way, was showing up early. I didn't gloat. I didn't celebrate. I simply felt a strange weight lift. Not revenge, not satisfaction, just clarity. Emily had made her choices. The consequences were unfolding. I smiled faintly, thinking, maybe this time justice didn't need my hands. And for the first time in months, I could breathe. The first call came just after lunch. My phone rang, and the name on the screen made my stomach twist. Hello. I answered, keeping my voice neutral. Daniel Carter, Jason's smug voice said. We need to talk. You're making this harder than it needs to be. I don't know what you mean, I said, pretending ignorance. Oh, come on, he sneered. Sign the papers. Be a man. Don't make this ugly. I closed the door behind me and hit record. Every word, every threat. I'm not signing anything without representation, I said calmly. Suit yourself, he said. But remember, I know things. I know enough to make life difficult for you. And Emily, she trusts me. My hands clenched around the phone. You're coaching her? Wouldn't you? He said with a laugh. You think she can do this alone? I'm helping her. Be a man, Daniel. Do what's right. I hung up, my stomach churning. I couldn't believe how bold he was, acting like a hero, like he had the right to threaten me. Olivia was waiting for me at the office. I replayed the call for her. She listened, expression unreadable. Daniel, she said finally, calm and precise. Don't answer him. Don't react. Every word, every threat recorded. We're building evidence. He's already making mistakes. I want to go after him, I said through clenched teeth. I want to. No, she interrupted firmly. Let him destroy himself. Stay quiet. Let him act. That's how we win. I exhaled slowly, trying to force calm. I can't believe Emily trusts him. She doesn't even see what he is. She's blinded by him, Olivia said. But Daniel, he's using her. He has a criminal record you don't even know about. Fraud, identity theft, and he's coaching her through this divorce. She's walking into it thinking he's her hero. That's his plan. I felt sick. Fraud? Identity theft. Yes, Olivia said, and she has no idea. You can't save her, Daniel. Not anymore. She made her choices, and he's manipulating her. You stay on the sidelines, stay calm, and collect evidence. That's how we win. I leaned back in my chair, shaking my head. I thought she was my wife. I thought I could protect her from people like him. You can't protect someone who doesn't want protecting, Olivia said firmly. Not anymore. And the moment you try to save her, you lose focus on what matters. Your company, your life, your future. I clench my fists. I hate him. I hate him for everything. For taking her. For being bold enough to think he can threaten me. Olivia nodded. Good. Let that drive you, but don't act on it. Let him show who he really is. He will reveal everything you need. We just need to be patient and methodical. You're not fighting Emily. You're protecting yourself and your assets. That's all. I can't believe she fell for him, I muttered. She thinks he's a savior. She doesn't see he's setting her up for his own gain. She never will, Olivia said softly. Not while she trusts him. But Daniel, you don't need to save her. You just need to make sure she doesn't take what's yours. I exhaled, the weight in my chest easing slightly. So I wait. I record. I let him destroy himself while she watches. Exactly, Olivia said. Patience. Documentation. Calm. That's how we win. And when he makes his mistakes, and he will, you'll be ready. I nodded, a strange mix of anger and clarity settling over me. I wasn't going to save Emily. Not anymore. She had made her choices. And Jason? He was a fool if he thought he could control everything. I picked up my phone again, going over the recording. Every word, every threat, every arrogant laugh. I felt a flicker of satisfaction, knowing it would all work in my favor eventually. Olivia's warning echoed in my mind. Let him destroy himself. And that's exactly what I would do. I wouldn't fight blindly. I wouldn't rage. I would stay calm, collected, ready. And when the time came, I would make sure both of them realized exactly who had underestimated whom. The courtroom smelled of polished wood and tension. I walked in, keeping my shoulders straight, my face calm. And then I saw them. Emily, holding Jason's hand, pretending like everything was normal. My chest tightened, but I didn't flinch. I didn't even let my eyes show the fire inside. Olivia whispered, "Stay calm, Daniel. Focus." I nodded. The judge entered, papers shuffled, gavels tapped. Emily's attorney began, "Your Honor, we believe the division of assets is fair. Daniel Carter has benefited disproportionately from the marital contributions." Olivia stood smoothly, voice sharp and clear. "Your Honor, let's address the claims directly. Mr. Carter funded Mrs. Carter's education entirely, as documented in bank statements, receipts, and tuition records. There is no evidence of marital contribution beyond what he provided." Emily's attorney raised an eyebrow. "Your Honor, the argument of emotional and domestic support cannot be dismissed. Daniel Carter's work schedule allowed Mrs. Carter to study." Olivia cut him off. "Allowed? He sacrificed nights, vacations, and personal time to support her education. There was no coercion, no obligation. These contributions were voluntary, documented, and outside the scope of marital property rights." I sat back, listening, heartbeat steady. I couldn't smile. I didn't need to. The facts spoke louder than my emotions. Then Olivia hit the next point. She pulled out my phone and played Jason's voicemails. "Daniel Carter, sign the papers. Be a man. Do what's right." Jason sneered in the first recording. "I know things. I can make this ugly for you. And Emily, she trusts me," the second recording said. I watched the judge's face change instantly. His brows knit, lips pressed tight. Emily's attorney froze, flipping through papers frantically. "What is this?" he demanded. "Your Honor, these are threats. Harassment. Not relevant to the case." Olivia held up her hand. "Your Honor, relevance is clear. Jason Hale is coaching Mrs. Carter through a legal strategy, using intimidation and manipulation. These voicemails directly support Mr. Carter's defense and show undue influence over Mrs. Carter's decisions." Emily gasped. I could see it. Her hand tightened around Jason's, but he didn't meet my eyes. He tried to stand. "Security," the bailiff barked. "Sir, stay seated." Jason froze, glancing at me with anger and fear. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. My chest was tight, my hands gripping the edge of my seat, but I felt free. For the first time in months, I wasn't drowning in betrayal. I was standing, solid. The judge leaned forward, voice firm. "These recordings are highly relevant. Mr. Hale, you may be questioned further. Mrs. Carter, your legal counsel will need to address this influence you've been under." Emily's face went pale. I couldn't look away. She stared at me like I was a stranger, someone she had once thought she knew completely, but now didn't recognize at all. Maybe she never did. Her attorney stammered, "Your Honor, Olivia held up another folder. "In Your Honor, additional financial documentation proves Mr. Carter's contributions were singularly in support of education. Mrs. Carter received no financial or professional leverage from Mr. Carter's work beyond personal benefit." Emily's attorney closed his mouth, defeated. He had no room to argue. He had no evidence to counter the documents, the recordings, the cold truth. I took a breath. Calm, focused. Not because I wanted revenge, not because I wanted to see her fail, but because finally, the scales of fairness were tipping. The courtroom felt like a war zone. Each statement was a strike, each counter a shield. Every eye watched, every ear listened. I wasn't fighting her. I wasn't even fighting Jason. I was defending everything I built, everything I sacrificed, everything I believed in. I saw Emily shrink slightly, a flicker of doubt crossing her face. For months, she had wielded my love like a weapon. Now the truth was turning it against her. Jason's jaw tightened. He was quiet now, restrained by law and security. Olivia whispered to me low, "Stay still. Let them unravel themselves. The rest is inevitable." I nodded, calm, collected, strong. And when the judge finally called a recess, I stood, chest heavy but steady. I glanced at Emily. She looked away, eyes darting to her hands, to Jason, to anywhere but me. Maybe she had never understood who I was. Maybe she never would. But I did. And that was enough. For the first time, I felt unshakable. The next morning, Olivia handed me a folder thick with new evidence. "Daniel, this just came in. Brace yourself." I opened it slowly. My eyes scanned screenshots of Emily texting her friends. "Upgrading," she bragged. "He's given me everything I deserve." My chest tightened. She also tried to hide bank transfers to Jason, Olivia said quietly. And these, she pointed to messages from him, asking her for money. He's been using her too. I felt sick. Using her, and she never saw it. Not once. Olivia nodded. "That's why this is important. The truth doesn't lie." And now the judge sees it all. Later, in court, Emily sat stiffly. Her hands trembled over her lap. Jason looked smug beside her, but his confidence faltered when the new evidence was submitted. The judge's eyes narrowed as he flipped through the documents. "Mrs. Carter, these messages and transfers explain this behavior." Emily's attorney stammered. "Your Honor, we—" "Enough," the judge said, voice firm. "Mrs. Carter, you will address this." Emily swallowed hard, tears welling. I didn't, her voice cracked. "I didn't think it would be this way. I thought—" "You thought what?" the judge asked, leaning forward. "That manipulation and dishonesty would go unnoticed?" Her hands shook, her face red. I thought Jason. I didn't." I watched her closely, silent, chest heavy. Her tears weren't for me. They weren't for regret. They weren't even for honesty. They were for the possibility of losing. Olivia whispered beside me, "Stay calm. Observe. Closure comes quietly." I nodded. Watching someone fall apart after betrayal didn't bring satisfaction. It didn't erase the pain of what she'd done. But it did bring a strange emptiness, a silent acknowledgement that the chapter was ending. Emily's attorney tried to interject. "Your Honor, we—" "No," the judge said sharply. "This isn't a matter for argument. The evidence speaks. Mrs. Carter, you have misrepresented facts, concealed financial transactions, and allowed undue influence from Mr. Hale. You will answer for it." Emily sobbed, head bowed. Jason shifted uncomfortably beside her, muttering under his breath. He tried to whisper, tried to console her, but even he couldn't cover the weight of exposure. I felt nothing toward him either. No satisfaction, no rage. Only clarity. They had built their own collapse, and I was standing outside it, untouched. The courtroom was silent, except for Emily's quiet sobs. I focused on the facts, on Olivia's notes, on the calm precision that had led us here. This was not about vengeance. This was about truth prevailing. Her eyes flicked to me briefly, a mixture of shock and confusion. She looked at me as if I were a stranger, someone she had once believed she could manipulate. I met her gaze for a single heartbeat. No anger, no accusation, just recognition of reality. Then she looked away, and I felt it, the emptiness that comes when betrayal has fully revealed itself. Closure, quiet and unyielding. The judge paused, then spoke. "We will review all evidence and proceed with decisions accordingly. Further instructions will follow." Emily sank lower into her chair, silent now. Jason avoided eye contact entirely. Olivia whispered, "It's over, Daniel. For now." I nodded. "Not with anger," I said softly. "Not with joy. Just done. Done with hope, done with betrayal, done with waiting for her to see me the way I saw her. Olivia rested a hand on my shoulder. Closure isn't always loud. Sometimes it's this quiet. I exhaled, feeling the weight lift if only slightly. I didn't hate her. I didn't celebrate. I just let it end. And that was enough. I was standing in the courthouse hallway when the commotion started. A shout, a slam of shoes on tile, the heavy clink of handcuffs. Jason, no, stop, don't take him. Emily screamed, running forward. Ma'am, please step back, security barked, grabbing her arms. I stayed where I was, silent, observing. Her eyes were wide, her face red, tears streaming. The man she had trusted, her so-called hero, was being led away in handcuffs. Jason Hale, you are under arrest for violation of court orders and multiple counts of fraud, one officer said, stern. Emily screamed again, pounding on his back as they pushed him through the doors. You can't. Don't take him. He turned, trying to call out to her. Emily, wait. Wait? Wait for what? She yelled. I trusted you. I followed you. I didn't think. He stopped, realizing no excuse would save him. Emily struggled against the officers holding her. He's mine. You can't take him. He's mine. I leaned against the wall, arms crossed, chest tight. I didn't feel satisfaction. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I simply watched. Olivia's voice echoed in my mind. Let him destroy himself. That's exactly what was happening. The man she idolized, the man she believed could guide her, could protect her, was crumbling. And she had no one to blame but herself. Emily's sobs echoed through the hallway. Jason, don't leave me. Don't do this. Ma'am, you need to calm down, the officer said, pulling her back further. I can't, she cried. I can't lose him. He's my future. Her future was collapsing, unraveling piece by piece, because she had built it on sand. On someone reckless, someone dangerous, someone who had no loyalty except to his own selfish interests. I exhaled slowly, heart heavy, but mind clear. She had made her choices. He had made his. Their destruction was inevitable. I didn't need to intervene. I didn't need to argue, to explain, to fight. Silence was enough. Jason's face twisted in panic as the officers pushed him into the holding area. Emily, I can fix this. I swear I can fix it. You can't, she screamed, banging on the glass. You never could. You never did. I felt a cold clarity settle over me. She had destroyed herself by choosing excitement without substance, passion without reason, thrill without stability. I had offered her everything steady, every late night, every sacrifice, every ounce of support I could give. And she walked away. Now she was watching chaos she had invited into her own life, and no amount of screaming or pleading could change it. I stayed in the hallway, arms still crossed, watching her shrink into herself, crying and reaching for someone who no longer existed in a way that mattered. The officers led Jason out, his protests fading. Emily's cries echoed behind them. One final glance. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. Olivia's words returned again. Clarity. Not anger. Not revenge. Clarity. I turned, walking out of that courthouse, my steps measured, my breathing steady. No one followed me. No one called after me. No one needed to. The chaos behind me faded with every step. I didn't look back. For once, silence was enough. For once, I didn't need to explain, to prove, to fight. I just walked, and the clarity I had sought for months finally settled inside me. I had lost what I couldn't keep. I had survived what I didn't want to endure. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free. She walked into my office quietly, like she didn't want to be noticed. I looked up from my desk, and there she was, Emily. Her hair pulled back loosely, eyes tired, shoulders slumped. Not the confident woman I married, not the woman who walked out on me. Daniel, she said softly, barely above a whisper. I didn't get up. I didn't say anything. I just studied her, feeling the weight of months, the months of betrayal, anger, and silence compressed into this one moment. I wanted to say I'm sorry, she said, hands twisting together. For everything. I know you didn't deserve any of it. I leaned back in my chair, arms crossed. You mean you didn't deserve to waste my time, my love, my trust? I asked quietly, not accusing, just stating. Emily's lips trembled. I made mistakes. Big ones. I held up a hand. Stop. She swallowed hard, tears glistening. I know you hate me, and I don't expect forgiveness. I needed to say it. I needed you to hear me say it out loud. I nodded slowly. I hear you. She stepped closer, hesitating, like she wanted to hug me. Can I? I didn't move. I didn't step toward her. I let her hand hang in the air, waiting. I wanted to hold you one last time, she whispered. I shook my head gently. No, this isn't about last times. It's about the truth. And the truth is, I paused, collecting the words, letting them form slowly. I loved you more than you loved yourself. Her face froze. Her eyes widened slightly. Daniel. I held her gaze, calm, steady, detached, but clear. You didn't hate me. You didn't love me fully. You loved what you thought I could give you, what you thought you could use. And that's different. I gave everything I had, and you threw it away for someone who didn't care about you. That's reality. She blinked, tears rolling silently down her cheeks. I see that now. You see it, I said softly, because you finally have nothing else to cling to. But seeing it doesn't change what happened. It doesn't undo the months of pain, the betrayal, the lies. It only shows you the consequences of your choices. Emily's shoulders sagged. I deserve this. I know that. Yes, I said quietly. You do. She took a small, shaky step back. I wanted you to know I'm sorry. I want to make some kind of amends. I shook my head gently. Amends aren't possible here. Not with the past. Not with what you did. Your apology, it's just words. But hearing it, it's enough. Enough for me to finally stop feeling like I need to fight you or save you. Her eyes filled with sorrow. I ruined everything. I should have never left you. Never trusted him over you. Stop, I said, firm but calm. You didn't ruin everything. You made choices. That's different. You chose Jason. You chose betrayal. You chose the excitement over stability. And now you have to live with it. I won't fight that for you. Emily's lips quivered. I thought I knew what love was. I thought I could handle it. You couldn't, I said quietly. Not with him. Not with anyone who promised you more than they could give. Not with yourself. She nodded slowly, understanding without words. Her head bowed slightly. I exhaled, feeling the weight in my chest lighten. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I didn't blame her. I simply stated the truth. I loved you, I said again softly. More than you loved yourself. That's all you need to know. Her tears fell freely now, but she didn't try to hug me again. She understood. She finally understood. She turned, walking toward the door. I didn't stop her. I didn't call her back. I let her leave. The office was silent after she went. No sound but the faint hum of the air conditioning. I leaned back in my chair, closed my eyes, and exhaled. For the first time, I saw her clearly, not as my wife, not as my betrayer, not as someone I could save, just as a person who had thrown away everything for someone who never cared. And I was free. The final papers were signed. The courthouse felt smaller than it should, quieter than I expected. No alimony, no company split, no claims, nothing. Clean, simple, final. I exhaled, feeling the weight lift from my shoulders. It's over, I whispered to myself, almost in disbelief. Olivia, standing beside me, gave a rare, small smile. Daniel, you handled this well. You stayed calm, focused, and honest. That matters more than you know. Thank you, I said quietly. Not for the compliment, but for her guidance, for helping me stay on track while everything around me burned. Mark was waiting outside. I spotted him before he saw me. So, he asked, arms crossed, eyes gleaming. Free, I nodded. Completely. You survived her, Daniel. And him. Both of them. I chuckled lightly, the sound strange to my own ears. Yeah, I guess I did. He clapped me on the shoulder. Good. Steak's on me tonight. Nothing fancy. Just us celebrating your freedom. I smiled, finally allowing myself a little relief. Sounds perfect. Back in my apartment, Mark grilled steaks in the kitchen while I poured a drink. The smell of searing meat filled the air, A simple reminder that life could still have warmth, even after months of chaos. This is how you celebrate surviving betrayal, Mark said, flipping his steak. Not with revenge, not with bitterness, with food, friends, and breathing easy. I nodded, leaning against the counter. I never thought it would feel this light. I expected anger, rage, something to cling to, but it's freedom. That's what I feel. Sarah left a cup of coffee on my desk the next morning. I noticed the small sticky note. Proud of you. You stayed true. Keep going. I smiled at it, quiet and private. She didn't need to say more. Her words meant everything. Her support, steady and understated, reminded me I wasn't alone in rebuilding myself. I thought about Olivia again. She had guided me, pushed me, made me face the truth without letting me become bitter. Her rare smile at the courthouse had been a quiet acknowledgement. This case had been a battle, and we had won, not through aggression, not through revenge, but through patience and truth. I poured myself another coffee and sat at my desk, looking out the window at the city. I wasn't thinking about Emily. I wasn't thinking about betrayal. I wasn't thinking about loss. I was thinking about me, the man I was becoming, the man who survived losing everything he loved and still chose to rise, the man who understood that victory didn't come from revenge, but from clarity and integrity. I ran my fingers across the desk, feeling the smooth surface beneath my palms. It was mundane, ordinary, but it felt like ownership. Ownership of my life, my choices, my freedom. Mark's laughter from the kitchen floated through the apartment. You know, you could have been sulking for months, man. But you're here, smiling. That's progress. I guess I realized something, I said quietly, almost to myself. Winning isn't about taking everything from someone else. It's about keeping your own life intact, keeping your truth intact. Everything else falls away. Mark nodded, flipping another steak. And you did that. Proud of you, Daniel. I raised my glass toward him. To surviving. To rising. To life. He clinked his glass with mine, grinning. To life. I took a deep breath, letting it fill me. For the first time in months, I felt unshakable. Not because I had power over someone else. Not because I had the last word. But because I had power over myself. I would rebuild. I would grow. I would thrive. And maybe that was the justice I truly needed. Not revenge, not vindication, not bitterness. Just truth. Just clarity. And the courage to walk into my own life. I didn't look back. I didn't linger on what was lost. I walked forward, step by step, fully aware that I was no longer the same man who had once been betrayed. I was stronger, clearer, free, and I would never forget it. The months after the divorce were strange at first. Silence felt heavy, but gradually it became freedom. My company grew faster than I expected. More clients, more opportunities, more control. Daniel, the board meeting is in an hour, Sarah said, setting a coffee beside me. You've got a lot on your plate today. I smiled at her. Thanks, Sarah. I'm ready. She grinned. You always are. It's good to see you like this, finally breathing again. Yeah, I said, staring out the window. The city stretched below, lights flickering as the sun set. I never realized how much space I needed to think, to really see myself. Mark called that evening. You up for dinner? I got a new steakhouse to check out. I'm in, I said. Been too long since we celebrated without chaos in the background. He laughed. You earned it. You survived betrayal, heartbreak, and legal hell. You deserve it. I survived, I said quietly. Not him, not Emily. Me. I leaned back in my chair, remembering the courtroom, the voicemails, the cold clarity I felt the first time I realized I didn't need to fight for her love anymore. That clarity had become my compass. Daniel, Olivia said later when we spoke about company matters, you've grown personally and professionally. You're making decisions with vision, not just emotion. That's rare after everything you went through. Thanks, Olivia, I said. I couldn't have navigated it without you. She smiled faintly, something I had rarely seen from her. Truth and patience win, Daniel. Not anger, not revenge. You've proven that. I sipped my coffee, thinking about Emily. I didn't hate her anymore. The anger had faded months ago, replaced by understanding. She made choices I couldn't control, and I'd learned to let go of what wasn't mine to fix. She was never really yours to fix, Sarah once said. The words finally sank in. I nodded quietly, alone in the office, feeling lighter than I had in years. The sun dipped lower, casting orange and gold across the skyline. I stood, pressing my palms to the glass, letting the warmth wash over me. I realized then that pain didn't break me. It shaped me. It showed me who I could be when I didn't give in to despair. Mark texted, "Drink on the terrace tonight?" I typed back, "I'll meet you there." I walked outside into the cool night air, feeling it brush against my face, crisp and alive. The city hummed below, distant car horns, laughter, life. And I felt a part of it again. I called a few clients to confirm meetings, laughed with Mark about nothing, and let myself hope again. Not reckless hope, not dependent hope, but quiet, steady hope for my life and my choices. A plane flew overhead, lights cutting through the darkening sky. I smiled. I would travel soon, see places I had postponed, meet people outside the confines of past pain. I would explore. I would grow. I would live fully, not as the man who paid for someone else's life, but as the man reclaiming his own. Cheers to that, Mark said, raising his glass. I clinked mine with his. To freedom, to growth, to living. Sarah sent a quick message later. Proud of you. Keep living the life you deserve. I didn't respond immediately. I just stared out at the city, letting the words sink in. Proud of me. Not proud of what I had survived, but proud of who I was becoming. And for the first time, I wasn't looking back at Emily or betrayal or loss. I wasn't haunted by what could have been. I was moving forward. The night stretched before me, full of possibility. My heart was cautious but open, protected but alive. I had learned the lessons the hard way. Betrayal doesn't define you. Your response does. I breathed deeply, letting the cool air fill my lungs. I stepped onto the terrace fully, letting the wind brush against my face. I smiled softly, quietly, and in that moment, I felt ready to live again. Truly live. Not as the man who gave everything to someone else, but as the man who finally owned his own life.